Welcome back to Real Estate Radio San Antonio with Karla and Stan, and we're here with the Allstate Insurance guru and owner, Greg Drott. Well, Greg, we were talking about it. It amazes me that your father was the insurance agent, as we were just talking off air here during the commercials, that your two brothers were the insurance agents also, and now your wife has also joined you in the insurance agency. So, I mean, that's got to be a crazy Thanksgiving conversation. I guess it must stick to claims, or has nothing to do with claims, and all is about football or basketball at that time. But tell us a little bit more as we get going here about, growing up in an insurance family and how you got your career going there, and kind of just finish up there and we'll move on. So I know, was there a lot of rivalry between you and your brothers and your dad with all of that?
Absolutely, especially there was a point in time where all four of us were with different companies. And so the conversations got very lively at the table.
Oh, I bet. With sibling rivalry, and then if you is your dad competitive also?
He was very competitive.
Because I know you are on the golf course, so I would imagine that the fruit didn't fall too far from the tree there. So
absolutely, you got to have passion in what you do.
Good.
Of course. Well, in saying that, Greg, you said you wanted to open your own company and go back to your neighborhood insurance company. So in saying that, what kind of service can a potential customer expect?
I mentioned earlier about old-fashioned customer service really being a lost art these days. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame, because now more than ever, that's what people need. They need a personal and local relationship with their agent. With modern technology, it makes it so easy for somebody just to click in and buy a policy online. But when they really need it, that's when they need an agent that they can go to really talk about what they have, what the protection is. And again, insurance is only good for when bad things happen. It's one of those few products that we all pay for and hope we never collect on. Mm-hmm. But when it does happen, that's when you need to be able to go to your local agent and really get the help from that trusted advisor. And that's what the role of an insurance agent is. It really is to be a trusted advisor to the customer.
I always heard this, that your insurance is only as good as your agent.
That's very true. The agent is a big part of that.
Uh-huh.
And again, it really comes down to, when claims do happen. I don't care whether you're talking about the home or you're talking about the auto or health. It's, bad things happen. And when that's a stressful time for people. I mean, most people don't ever go through these things. And so when they do, the last thing they need is somebody on the other end of a 1-800 number that they're talking to that just does that over and over and over. That's where that local neighborhood agent part comes in. And it's very important that people can feel comfortable coming in, sitting across the table and saying, help me, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've never had I've never had a car accident, or I've never had to call anything, any fire on my house or anything. But so what would happen if somebody had a car accident? Do they call you on the weekend?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's the nice thing about it is our office plus the Allstate brand behind us. It doesn't matter when it happens, 24/7. Allstate's going to be there. You're going to be in good hands, and you're going to be able to talk to a licensed professional no matter what time of day it is.
Mm. That's good to know. We don't have to wait till Monday.
Absolutely.
You forget everything by Monday. You're trying to remember what exactly happened and stuff in that situation. So, I mean, Allstate, I did have Allstate in a different state, and I know I was very, very happy with I had a claim on a fence that actually had some high winds, blew everything over and knocked everything down, and they were right there, I guess, excuse the expression, but Johnny on the spot, so to speak, and took care of that claim in a very, very timely manner. So my experience with insurance, I think that was about the only time there was with Allstate, and they responded very well on that. So I know it makes you feel good when it's like, wow, really? I mean, you're going to help me out this fast? And it was just, they made me feel like $1 million. I was kind of afraid to even file a claim. Is this going to hurt me? Is this going to hit prices? What's going to happen? And they stepped up to the plate as far as I was concerned, and made me feel, like I say again, with like $1 million, and was treated me very respectably.
And you bring up a good point. That's exactly why you need your local agent to ask all those questions that you just brought up, because people don't know, and that's our job as their advisor.
So what happens, so we talk about local agents, what happens if someone moves here from California or Chicago and they're Allstate? Do they change agencies? And, I mean, they can stay within Allstate. Is it better for someone to change to a local agent?
Well, you have to remember that insurance is one of those few industries that are regulated by the states. So when you move from state to state, each state has their own different policy, their own different laws, their own different statutes regarding that. So, yes, when you come in from another state, you're going to have to get a Texas policy. And, of course, you'll want a Texas agent that knows that Texas policy.
That's a good point.
When you move here, is there a grace period? So let's say I move here from Arizona, or someone moves here from Arizona, and they move here on the first of the month. Is there a grace period that they're covered till they switch that policy over, or is it? How fast do they have to move? I know you would say one day, but is there a hard and set rule or not?
No hard and set rule. It's usually just as soon as possible. But again, that's the one nice thing. I can't speak for other insurance companies, but generally speaking, your coverage is going to follow you from state to state, and your coverage while you're in that state, even if you're traveling. Your coverage is going to conform to whatever those states' minimum insurance requirements are, generally on an automatic basis.
So that's the benefits of being with a national company.
Absolutely.
It's being covered nationally. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you think about, we have like 5,000 people a month moving to Texas or to San Antonio, and, how many of those are from out of state that needs a local insurance agent? So if you're just tuning in, and you're just moving here from another state, you'll want to contact Greg Drott at Allstate to get your insurance over to a Texas Allstate agent.
Yeah. What's your number out there, Greg? What's the best phone number for someone to reach you, or how someone to reach
our
you?
Our local number is 210-341-3258. Again, that's 210-341-3258.
Great. And if you've just joined us, you're listening to Real Estate Radio San Antonio with Karla and Stan, and we're sitting here with insurance owner, Greg Drott. He has 3 agencies here in town. So
Allstate.
So
Greg, what sets you apart from other insurance agencies, I would say?
It's about building relations and earning trust. We customize solutions tailored to each customer's unique circumstances. There is no boilerplate solution for any one person, and that's the role of an agent, is to sit down and have that conversation with the customer. What's important to them? What is the most important thing? I like to always say, other than price, because everybody always wants to say, okay, I want the lowest price. Absolutely, we all want that. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're getting the coverage that you want and need, so that when something bad does happen, you're not left out in the cold.
That's right. Yeah. Is there anything that I know that there's some agencies that I've talked to that had like if you have a newer roof, is there like discounts for a newer roof versus an older roof? Things like that?
Yes, there's lots going into the rating of policies, and there's tons of discounts out there, and that's what we want to do, is we want to make sure that we sit down and make sure that we customize that policy. I mean, if you don't mind paying your bills online, having it auto drafted, that's a discount. I like to use the old bell, ding, that's a discount, ding, that's a discount. There's so many out there to take advantage of. It just depends what makes you comfortable in what you like to do.
What your situation is.
You know what I'd like to do is jump kind of here and keep talking about that, but kind of because we're a real estate show, we want to talk about the real estate and the homeowners part of this. So let's talk about what coverage is covered on here. So maybe we can talk about for real estate. What does someone need for their home? What do they really need? Because you hear so many different types of things out there, and is there an abundance? I know we have a little extra policies on our home to cover us financially, and I feel like I'm very well covered on this. But tell us a little bit what someone needs. So if someone's buying a home now, what are some of those coverages that they need?
Well, that's important, because in Texas, it used to be the state of Texas, the Department of Insurance, would actually write the insurance policy. So every insurance company's policies were exactly the same, all the way down to the same commas, the same periods, and the same in the same places. Over the years, that has changed where we are now in what's called a file and use. That allows the insurance companies to come in, they file their insurance policy with the state of Texas and get to begin using it as the Department of Insurance reviews it and approves it. So it's a file and use now. So now these policies are all very, very different. Now, most homeowners insurance policies have some of the same basic coverages. And it's important to remember that each of these coverages have their own special limits. So when you have your policy, there'll be different limits, and again, those are limits for those particular ones. So let's start with the dwelling. Okay, I like to tell people the simple analogy I have for that is if I were to take your home, pick it up in my hand, turn it upside down and shake it, anything that stays up in my hand is part of the dwelling coverage. Anything that shakes loose is your personal property. So again, when your house is damaged or destroyed by a covered loss, that dwelling coverage, again, that one limit that's listed there, is what's going to pay for what's still up in my hand being held. The items that are inside of it, that's your personal property, and that's why it's also important to make sure that you have proper coverage on your personal contents. You know, most people don't realize that over a lifetime of accumulating what they can actually have in a house and how much it would take to replace that. And that brings up another coverage it's very, very important to make sure you have on a homeowner's policy, and that's replacement cost. Because there are policies out there that are called actual cash value policies, and there's some with replacement cost. And that is very important.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're gonna stop right here. We're gonna take a quick break. You're listening to Real Estate Radio on KLUP. And you're listening with Stan and Karla Hester on realestateradio.sa.com. We can also be reached at. And don't go away. We'll be back in a few minutes as Greg finishes up this information. But we've got some really exciting things. Did you know, are you covered if you're on a golf course and you hit somebody with a golf ball? Are you covered if you break that window? Are you covered if you crash that cart? We're going to talk about some of these really, really important things when we get back. We'll see you all in a few minutes.